Okay, let's talk about this. So yes, in a year from now, I will be quitting bedside nursing forever. And that is not clickbait, that's actually gonna happen. And I've been debating this for a really long time. I don't really talk about this that often because it's kind of scary because I've been a bedside nurse literally my entire career for the last 3.5 years, and I went to nursing school for this, and it's kind of scary to actually move on to something else. And you know, just from what I've seen, just from like being a clinical nursing student versus like being an actual nurse, like you will see nurses who will be a bedside nurse for literally decades, 20, 30 years. Like my preceptor was a nurse for 20 years. 20 years and still is a nurse right now. And funny enough, I thought about quitting bedside nursing literally in the first week I was a nurse, like over 3 years ago. And it's a combination of things. I don't want people just thinking that I'm quitting bedside nursing because I just hate it. There are so many good things about being a bedside nurse. Like there are so many days where I actually really do love my job. You know, I love getting there at 7 a.m. waking the kids up, getting them the medications, getting them breakfast, cutting their food up, playing puzzles with them, or just getting them up for physical therapy. And being a bedside nurse is such an amazing career because you get to be there literally at bedside helping these kids out or your patients. And you will literally watch these kids at their sickest and then all of a sudden get better and they're walking out the hospital when you discharge them. And that is the best feeling in the whole world when you see a sick kid and you're like, holy crap, this kid does not look good. And then eventually you see him literally walk out the hospital. Like that is such a good feeling. But if you work as a bedside nurse right now, you just know how mentally and physically tasking this job is. Like my back is literally terrible. I have to stretch every single night. I see a chiropractor, I do physical therapy because my back is literally just shot. And it's because nursing is just a very physical demanding job. You're turning your patients, you're picking them up, you're getting them into the wheelchair, you're walking nonstop, you're barely sitting down, and it's just really tough on your body. And not just that, but the mental aspect, it can be really, really impactful on your mental health. Like I have worked in the ICU, I worked in the ER, I worked in the cancer unit. And when you're in those jobs, you see literally the saddest and most depressing things in the world. And you see so many cases where it just breaks your heart. And I've had patients pass away, and trust me, I still think about those kids every day, and I think about them all the time. And when you're taking care of these kids in the hospital, you're not just taking care of them for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. You're literally taking care of them for weeks, months, years, because they're constantly there. They're either coming back for checkups or have to get readmitted because they're getting sicker. And it's been an absolute honor and privilege to be there at the bedside helping these kids out. But man, it is so taxing on your mental health. Like I have taken care of kids on hospice. It's basically where we know you're gonna pass away, and our job is just to make you feel comfortable up until that point. And with kids, that is the worst thing to ever come across. And I've also seen kids who are on literal life support, who are brain dead, and the parents have to make the choice to finally pull the plug and donate their organs. And oh my God. And trust me, you don't forget about those days. Eventually, I have worked in different units like pediatric med surg, where basically the kids they're all right. They're not that sick, but they just need some extra medications like IV antibiotics or just extra monitoring. So basically these kids aren't sick, like critical care. And these units are really nice to work in because you're going from seeing kids literally pass away to just kids constantly being discharged, feeling better and going home. And even when I work in those departments, it's still very physically straining on you. And regardless of where you work, you're constantly doing the 3 12-hour shifts. And honestly, there's a trade-off between working 12-hour shifts and like a regular 9 to 5. Like I do like working 3 12s and then being off for 4 days. Like that's super nice. But you are working 12-hour shifts non-stop, and you're also being on call. You're also working night shifts with day shifts, so you're constantly rotating. Like I'm working like maybe night shift on Tuesday and then day shift on Thursday. Like it's really crazy how my sleep schedule is so erratic. And also you're working weekends and holidays, and you're missing out on a lot of cool life events. And in the past 3 years, I have missed out on so many birthdays. I missed out on so many Christmases, New Year's, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. I can't remember the last time I had 4th of July off. And for a really long time, I thought about going back to school to be a nurse practitioner. And if you don't know, a nurse practitioner is a provider, so it's just extra schooling. And I thought about this for so long. I thought about it literally in my first year of nursing, but I kind of want to stick it out more. And I had to kind of figure out when to start school because I don't want to get like completely burned out and then start school and then wait another 3 years. So I actually started school last year. And now by next spring of 2024, I will be a nurse practitioner, and then I'm gonna say goodbye to bedside nursing. I'm gonna say bye to the hospital, and it's kind of like bittersweet, you know? Even though I complain so much about being a nurse, there are so many things that I do love about being a bedside nurse. There's so many great things about it, and I don't want to be like all doomsday and tell you guys like, oh, being a bedside nurse sucks. No. there are so many great things about it, and honestly, I don't regret any of it at all. So right now, I got a year left basically as a bedside nurse, and I'm just gonna enjoy it as long as I can. I'm gonna try to do some more travel nursing. If not, I might just do a PRN gig near my house and kind of just soak in this entire year, because it's just kind of crazy that in a year from now, I won't be doing this kind of work anymore. I'm still gonna be working with patients, but it's just like, it's so different than working with patients in the hospital when they're literally in bed versus like you have patients coming into you. And throughout this whole process, I'm just doubting myself. Like, is this the right decision for me? Am I doing the right thing? Because people are nurses for literally 10, 20, 30 years. And I know nurses that quit bedside nursing to go back to school after like 10, 20 years. Like, am I cutting it too short? But I do feel like I am making the right decision, because when I'm actually a nurse practitioner, I'm gonna work max 4 days a week. I'm never gonna work on nights. I'm never gonna work on weekends. No more holidays. I'm never gonna be on call. If you don't know what it's like to be on call, I made a whole video about that on my Instagram, but basically you're just sitting at home on your day off and you have no idea if your work needs you up until the very last minute, and you're just sitting at home just waiting to get a phone call to be like, by the way, we need you at work right now, get dressed. And it just sucks because you're just kind of forced to go back to work even though you don't want to, and it's usually like a Friday night or Saturday morning. I'm done with that. I am done with that. And I'll say this, there are jobs out there as a bedside nurse where you can be a permanent day shift, you can be every third weekend, and sometimes hospitals don't have an on-call policy for floor nurses. And honestly, if you can find that job, stay there. And that's kind of like a nutshell of what's going on in my life right now. I have my MacBook, I have to do my lectures today, I have to do like discussion posts. Honestly, going back to school sucks, but I know it's gonna be so worth it in the end, and I'm a year in so far. Honestly, since being in school, I have enjoyed bedside nursing more because I know that in a year from now, I'm gonna stop doing this forever. And I know just for me mentally, I can endure something and even enjoy it if I know that eventually it's gonna end. And when I didn't have school lined up, like, I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna be a bedside nurse doing this for the rest of my life. Like, I just can't do that. But the moment I enrolled in school and I got accepted, I know that like there's a timer going off. Like, okay, in 2 years from now, you're not gonna do this anymore. And honestly, since then, I have enjoyed nursing so much more. Even on the bad days, I have enjoyed it for what it is. It kind of like sucks, like why can I have this mindset when I'm actually working as a nurse without school in the distance? But yeah, that's my life so far. I'm in school, I'm also working as a travel nurse, I'm working and doing this content creation. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, I love you.